But for Operation One, and honestly, for the new bronze teams, I find that Subway seems to be the forgotten stepchild. Not many teams want to play on that map.
Yeah, you brought up a good point last time we were on Suburbia together, which is that Suburbia is pretty popular because of the simplified callouts. It gives you a really good sense of like the fundamentals of the game. I think once you start getting into maps like that, it gets a lot dicier. So the newer guys don't want to quite take that risk yet.
All right, so getting started here. White Fang has already hit center house. It is the center house objective. They have one defender in objective. Josie's running up the stairs. White Fang catches him out, runs upstairs, get caught by 4D printing. Spicy start. D-Baggins takes out Skype.
Yeah, 4D printing just spider crabbing his way along the top of the staircase, and it looks like Reinhardt is about to come around the corner and confront him. Oh, but no, Ranger catches him out from the front lawn of the spawn house. Nevaste now in the front room of the objective house. I'm not sure what she's going to do here since Ranger obviously has a bead on her, and I've turned on my lasers since I forgot earlier. And laser beam looking up. She seems to be aware that there's somebody up there. She must be conscious of Ranger in the front yard as well.
Yeah, by staying crouched like that, she can hide herself from the windows until she goes up the stairs and really clear the objective. That said, Ranger catches out JT, who pushed up just a little bit too aggressive there. Navaste and 4D printing trading fire in center house.
Ooh, and Bertok with a one-shot, one kill on D-Baggins there from lane 4. All up to Navaste now in the objective house. I mean, if she can kill 4D printing here, it'll create an interesting situation because, you know, the other players are nearby, but they will have to run a decent in order to stop a cap.
4D is pretty aware of her position, throwing down what looks to be a flash.
Yeah, I think that caught Neva, though. She was away from the staircase behind a wall. So should be okay from the effects of that. But 4D did use that as an opportunity to rotate to the top of the staircase.
All right, 4D here. Got to be careful about going prone. I guess he has a little room. I take that back. Although your body can clip through the floor in this version of the game, so that is something to definitely worry about as well when going prone on these thin second story objectives. Nice rotation from 4D printing, moving around, just checking the tight angles there and catching Navaste as she was out in the open for him.
Yep, there was a lot of action early on there. Good coverage, too, on the defense. They had people in the middle. More importantly, they had people kind of watching the periphery, and the Pandas chose to take a wider route for several of their players, and that defense paid off.
Yeah, absolutely. This objective is always interesting how people decide to push it or attack it, either going slow, clearing out the outside players that are defending on the periphery, kind of like, who was it? Ranger, who did get 2 really good picks, changing the play of the game, basically, or the speed of the game, or trying to go really aggressive, trying to push the objective, gain control of it early, and forcing a possible cap situation.
Yep, I'll be curious to see what Operation One does. They have a little bit more of a reputation for being aggressive, especially with 4D charge up the middle of the map, regardless of what map it is. Wonder if they're going to kind of move here. I don't know. Do you remember if they use shields very often? I'm trying to pick my brain here. I don't remember.
I don't remember. I can't remember which. I think it was Blackwatch that did the really awesome shield play on the second story of this objective. But for one, I'm not sure.
Oh, you know what I think we're both thinking of here is Lobster. That's lobster without the
with
S.
An S. Oh, I thought it was with an S.
A friendly crustacean on V3 who pushed up and took out, I think, 3 people now killed and capped. If I remember that correctly. Don't quote me on that kill count.
I think he did get it. He got at least 2 kills. I think it was 3, and he helped assist with the cap for sure. It was a really fun play for sure. Oh, we have a
Oh,
round reset.
let's see. Looks like, yeah, I think JT might have dropped because his score got reset there. Yeah, I was a little confused. I just saw on the kill feed, I saw Neva's name come on. I was like, oh, that's one way to start the round. Shoot yourself. So, in your opinion, when it comes to pushing this middle house objective, what do you prefer to do? I mean, I think I know the answer, but for the rest of us, the audience, what are your thoughts on this objective?
So in a competitive, uh, competitive match, obviously the way I play is different. I usually don't get to have lane 4, as you were probably thinking. I do like to take the people out on the periphery. That spot that Ranger was in, or in the second story, is spawn house, is just really powerful. They can watch the stairs, and they can kill you as you're trying to focus on clearing all the possible spots that the defenders could be upstairs on the objective room. So if you take those people out, you don't have to worry about your back at the same time. As we did see, I believe it was Reinhardt getting shot in the back as he was trying to clear the stairs there.
Yeah, 4D and Skype already moving up the middle. Skype is in the back door, guns
Catches
a-blazing,
JT
and
out.
takes out JT. Wow. Oh, but White Fang gets the refrag by peeking down from the staircase, and Operation One is now slowing down. It's probably a good idea right now.
Check out camera 2.
Oh,
Navasa gets caught out in the backyard.
yeah, I think 4D caught that. Oh, there's a C4 on her, too. I think he caught that through the fence.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
wow, that was crazy.
I see what you're talking about with the flashlight, White Fang.
Yeah, so we've seen some new strategies, especially with the new dynamics of the 1.8 patch, where, for example, smokes and the flashlights blind them players. So with these one entryway choke points, sometimes having those kind of cover can really make all the difference when they're breaching.
Ooh, and Joski gets a refrag right onto Reinhardt behind the spawn house. So it's now 2 up for School with Pandas versus Operation One's 3.5. Looks like the res is about to come out for Joski, though.
Yeah, definitely should see a revive there. White Fang, obviously being on the objective, can't rotate out. D-Baggins holding in the back, covering the door, just trying to stop them from being able to push up. But he's being attacked on all sides. 4D printing coming right, near the tank. Bird Talks in the lane 4/lane 3 area, just kind of bouncing around in the.
Oh no!
Ooh.
Oh no! Objective is open now, and if Operation One plays their cards right, they will be able to get a cap here.
All right, we
Basically
see smoke coming out. We heard gunfire. D-Baggins needs to respond to this. It looks like we're going to see a cap, though.
Yeah.
D-Baggins finally realizes is there. He's running out. He's running towards objective. Gets himself killed. Right move by D-Baggins there. That was almost a cap there. Would have liked to see just a little bit more coordination on that cap attempt from Op1, but getting a kill is a win one way or another, and it's always good to pick up a win on Marsoc.
Yep. D-Baggins really didn't have a choice there, being the last person so far away from objective, running out in the open and getting shot. I mean, maybe you take out somebody with you, but that was the best thing that could have happened there because they had 2 people on objective. Easily could have capped if he didn't do that.
Honestly, with the information clues he had, you saw smoke going off. You see your allies down in the second story. You basically know that you've kind of rotated late back down to objective. So honestly, if I was him there, I would intentionally miss and die. Instead of trying to shoot that guy, maybe heal myself so I can run again, get up the stairs. We know that 4D is a very fast capper. That threat is always present. So I would try and die because you were just not going to get there in time.
Yep. That was just one of those situations where it's better to just not get into the situation in the first place. Like you said, there's plenty of signals that there was trouble in the middle house, and waiting that long just put him in such a precarious position. He had no choice but to die, really.
I'd like to thank QuovR6 for that Prime subscription. Thanks for showing up and showing your support for our ScrimCast.
Yeah, thank you.
Always appreciated.
Okay, so we now have, what is this? Now it took me to the wrong objective.
I haven't changed it yet. I was looking at that.
So it looks like we have the lane 1 white car objective, if you want to call that. So Joski and Ranger. Ranger hanging out on the white car. Joski pushing out a little wider. Looks like they might meet Navaste pretty quick here. Pretty good spread on Marsoc with a little bit of a bias towards lane 4.
The best lane.
Yes, the superior lane, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm just watching over here in Navaste and Joski angle. Joski is pushing up. We could see a pick from him shortly.
And Bertok kill over on, what is that, lane 4, I believe. Yep, with his sniper rifle.
All right, Joski and Navaste are primed here for a confrontation. Navaste is looking the right way, catches Joski as he peeks around the corner there, possibly seeing him in the crack moving behind those blocks there, or Heskos. Ranger on the white car near objective hears the gunfire, is aware of that situation, does keep an eye on it. Marsoc's doing a good job of pushing up here and just putting pressure on every angle, and just threatening a confrontation at any time.
Indeed. And it looks like Reinhardt and Navaste might have a 2-on-1 opportunity here against Ranger if they don't get spotted out. Ooh, nice grenade. And it catches him underneath the car. Nice throw.
Brutal.
Yeah, some bad luck on Ranger's part, but that was spicy little meatball tossed from lane 1. And Navaste might have the angle for the finishing shot here, too, because she is proning her way to the lane 1 hedges.
It's a pretty hard visually just see his body, I'd say.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to be able to. No, she's too far now. And Bertok gets another kill, lane 4, with his SKS.
He only goes for headshots, nothing else.
Yeah, seems like he really is efficient with his bullets.
All right, Ranger's calling out Navaste. I haven't got to try this new version. Did the downed radios work?
I'm not sure.
All right, so hopefully they work. 4D printing here has to make this decision. Do I go for a res, or do I just hold my angle? And if he has that information from the downed guy, obviously it's going to help him make the right choice here. Bertox takes out Reinhardt.
And I think that radio was working because as he was saying that, people started orienting their lasers to lane 1.
Oh, nice shot under the Humvee from Skype. Sad for Ranger too, because Skype was actually rotating to go res him.
Yep.
And it didn't work out.
Brutal. And Bertok on lane 4, just a madman with that sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Did you catch any of that? I was on lane 1 the whole time.
No, I was on lane 1. I should have went over, but I didn't look over.
That's all right. I mean, we could see it on the kill feed. And let's see. Yeah, Bertok at 4-0 right now, leading Operation One. And it's just, man, that's unusual seeing somebody doing so well with a sniper rifle on small map. That is very unorthodox.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out next time he's on Folk, but I wonder if he's using like a 2 times maybe.
Could be.
That said, we have seen some good 4 times usage on this map from, for example, the late Technic. Rip.
Yeah. Yep.
Miss that guy.
Yeah, good dude. Good dude. But, you know, real life can get in the way of Onward, and I get it. But it is nice to have a sniper like that on your team. A guy who can just put shots on foreheads from long distances is very nice.
Yeah, so we're seeing a pretty strong showing from Operation One here. There's been some close, matches where, it could have gone either way. Been but you never know how things might turn out.
Yeah, that's just the nature of the game. I mean, there is variance even at the team level to some degree, but hard to argue that Operation One is having a bad game at this point. They're doing very well for themselves and surprisingly well against a team like the Pandas, which are still in their rookie season, but largely made of somewhat experienced players now.
Yeah. They also, Navaste is a possible new pickup for the Pandas. You know, it's always going to take a little time to integrate everybody into their play style, get on the same wavelength, and get that teamwork skill working. So this is the perfect place to do it.
All right, looks like again a little bit more of a some sniper shots going out again. I'm not sure where those are happening, but it looks like there's a little bit of a bias towards the lane 4 side of the map again, with only one person over at lane 1. That's 4D printing. Joski up in the window of middle house.
Yeah, I'm watching the corner.
Let's see, Neva may be able to catch him.
Neva actually has a C4 on that little turnabout too.
Oh,
Skype
yeah.
takes some shots, takes out White Fang at lane 4. Lane 4, other than the crossfire from D Baggins, is now open. D Baggins is in a good position to stop any overly aggressive crosses. Meanwhile,
4D and Navaste are about to confront each other. Oh, Joski and Navaste goes down. Yeah, that was a good encirclement there.
Oh, it gets a little aggressive there.
Joski.
Yeah. Ooh, Reinhardt takes out Ranger. Got a strong defense covering objective. The opposition's getting just a little too frisky there off the one pick, trying to push, but they have a strong defense there. D Baggins gets taken out by Skype over in lane 4, leaving a possible cross open if they can get past Reinhardt.
And here comes Bertok creeping from the school bus area with a sniper rifle again.
Meanwhile, 4D printing in lane 1 is coming around the corner here. He goes prone. He's going to try and fight JT here. He has a shot on JT, but hasn't quite seen him yet. JT isn't looking the right way.
Ooh, this is going to be close.
Neither player seems to have seen each other here. And 4D should be able to get over to the Humvee.
Without JT just reoriented himself.
He's looking prone. He has eyes on 4D. Lasers on 4D, and he takes him out under the car.
Underneath the Humvee. Good shot. All right, so 2-2 now.
Nice shot, JT. That is a integral pickup here. Not that they know this, but now that the only attackers are all over at lane 4, have not made a move, and unless one of them rotates here, it could go really badly for him. Reinhardt, meanwhile, is calling out. Yeah, he's calling out somebody that does not exist. But that's okay. If Reinhardt covers that angle, JT can watch the shadow angle.
Oh, JT's laser is hitting Skype, but I'm assuming, Skype is prone, I believe, so he can't see him. So they're looking the right way, just not spotting him because they're being pretty tricky about profiling themselves on the landscape.
Always good to use the terrain to your advantage.
Yeah, Skype is snaking his way through the middle of the street. Laser on white car, but no action so far. Minute 40 seconds left. We'll see how this pans out. I am stunned that nobody has spotted Skype yet, but again, very hard to see him. Yeah, Reinhardt actually will not have an angle on him yet.
In fact, Reinhardt gets caught out by Skype. And he gets JT as well. Oof. Good plays by Skype. Sharp eye catching, especially JT, who was behind cover. Fairly common spot, but still, again, visually covered and obscured. That was a very good shot for him.
So 4-0 Operation One. What are your thoughts on that map overall?
That was crazy. I feel a little bad for Pandas here. I think that last round there could have easily gone either way. And if it did, we could have seen a comeback. That said, I think that we're going to see probably some explosive plays come out of Pandas on, for example, Cargo. Nope.
Ooh, we go to Q1.
It's not their pick. It's not their pick yet anyway. But again, it's not over. until it's over, really. You know, either the 2-map win, or the you know, overall points, as Theta talked about in his recent video.
Yep, and we are, again, just for anybody who joined late, we are going off of an actual league format here. We have home and away, and we also have bans. So we have 2 bans in place of Bazaar and Subway, and the Pandas are home. So this Q1 was Operation One's pick.
All right, so we have tank objective here. Really interesting one. One that I honestly seems like the hardest cap on this map to make, as you have to be out in the open or clear the mall building, which is the one with the turbine in it, and right next to tank. And if you have cleared that, honestly, it just seems like you've killed the entire enemy team at that point.
Yeah, so which team is on Volk here?
I'm gonna throw that in right here. I was just flying through, being useless, you know.
As
right.
usual.
All right, here we go.
All right, so School of Pandas and Operation One. Everybody's here, no drops, fortunately, so we should be getting underway here momentarily. Be curious to see if anybody's going to use the parking garage at all here for defense. I feel like a lot of people are getting scared away from it because you get so exposed when you come up on this ramp.
Right, yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised. It kind of feels like you could kind of do like this close-in defense where you wait for them to get close and you like pop out of there or shoot somebody who looks down inside. Kind of similar to Subway's basement objective when people look down the stairs. It isn't quite as steep, but you can get in some of these kind of angles where it'd be hard, at the very least, hard to see you when you're shooting, you know, back up at them and they're skylighted, and just, you know, obviously really easy to see.
I will say, just obviously this was in a pub, so it doesn't matter that much. I don't know how informative it is, but I was on Q1 playing on defense on the east objective, and I was in this little spot right underneath that opening, and somebody ran through tank courtyard, and I shot him there. So I think there's some potential there on at least one of those objectives. We'll see how people end up using that in real competition, though.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm curious how this one's going to be defended from the Pandas.
Yeah, so just be in one of the corners. I'd honestly just be laying down.
What about hiding in the shadows in that little foggy area underneath there?
You can do that.
Hiding in the shadows.
Oh, and Reinhardt injures himself and drops his weapon.
What a panda, man. Yeah, so what is a group of pandas called again?
An embarrassment.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. That's what we're seeing right now from Reinhardt.
And if anybody doubts me, please Google right now what a group of pandas is called. Promise I'm not making that up. And Skype takes out Reinhardt. So
actually,
really,
it was Ranger on hotel roof.
I don't know why. Oh, I was looking at Skype, so I got all mixed up there.
With his little EMR. Spicy Pick running up onto the hospital roof. Dangerous position, but also really strong. You can get some good angles if you're willing to expose yourself into the defense, like little area in the mall in front of the objective. Wow, look at how pushed up Operation One is. They are already right outside of Tank Courtyard. White Fang has this nice little back position, looking to see if anyone's going to decide to go under the objective and come out the building. Meanwhile, they have 2 defenders on the front room next to objective in the corners, and 1 in the back one just kind of being defense. This is a really tight and conservative defense.
Wow.
How brutal.
Bertok, just a madman with a sniper rifle again. And yeah, I'm curious. I mean, White Fang must be able to hear them above him. Oh, yeah, White Fang's about to get a kill here.
D. Baggins takes out Skype, but it's a trade. Skype is available for res. The objective is now open if JT doesn't rotate. This is brutal. 4D is pushing up onto objective. Joski,
No one is on objective. White Fang is underneath.
He should
Pops
be able to
up.
catch 4D here in the back.
Oh. Yep.
Nice. Bertok can't quite cover him in time, but does get the refrag, ending that round. I gotta say, it's an interesting style to do, like that really conservative defense where you just have those tight angles right next to objective. But if you're going to do that, I would not ever peek, because you're giving both the hospital roof and the old roof up to the opposition, and they have those shots down onto objective, and you're just not going to be able to catch them out before they catch you. In most cases, they do have that height advantage, and they can be anywhere on those roofs looking in at you. So just stay tucked, don't peek, let them come to you if you're going to choose to do that tighter conservative defense.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. If you're going to play conservative. Don't set up a conservative formation and then break with that.
And also, I'm not super versed on capping, but I'm pretty sure when I tried this, you couldn't cap behind the tank in any way. Even on the front of the tank, you had to stick out a bit. So you shouldn't be so scared about like a blind cap that you need to peek for this objective.
I think you're right about that. I haven't tested it either, but I'm just looking at the objective right now. I would be very surprised if you could cap from almost anywhere on the tank that's not on the objective side.
Yeah.
Maybe like the very front of the tank on the edge closest to the objective you could, but even that seems like it might be a stretch.
Yeah. Let's see how Operation One chooses to defend this objective.
And
It's just
interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's just kind of interesting because this map has so many objectives compared to everything else. And so a lot of times you just don't see certain objectives very often. And this seems to be one of the least played objectives, at least for me.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a bit of a split here. Reinhardt gets 4D, but we have Bertok is up in the north, and he's about to meet Navaste and White Fang here.
I want to point out that 4D did that. He took fire on his approach to there, and he threw a C4 down and then tried to rotate back and got shot.
Bertok. Oh, boy. He somehow missed that shot. Navaste turns around and sees him. Oh, and Bertok gets the trade on that. White Fang had the drop on him, too. That was just some insane reaction time.
Okay, so now if the radios work, he can call out that he got 2 kills. That's invaluable information. And with 2 players dead and that whole north approach possibly, taken out from the Operation One's perspective, we could see a res as well. There's something to keep in mind as well. We do have a bird's eye view. We know who's down, who's not, what's happening at any time, and a very accurate minimap. But the players don't. They don't know, who's taking out who. If they both die, they don't know if there's more players on that flank or where the enemy team is. They just have a lot less informational awareness than we do.
And D. Baggins catches Ranger in the south. But yeah, it's an excellent point. It's always easy to criticize when you have this kind of overview, but we're players. We know what it's like. You have limited information, and everybody can make a bad play when they don't have the right information.
Yeah, that's why getting that information, seeing those rotations, especially on a map like this, you can often see them rotating from their spawns to different areas, can be so valuable. But so far, we've seen more or less a tight defense from these teams. Nice shot by JT onto Skype, right, defending in the objective area there. He just did not have a place to go. He was being shot by 2 different players. Joski runs out to try and cover the objective, but nearly gets caught out on that quick rotation. This is what you want to see when you're attacking. You want to catch them on those rotations back to objective. Get them when they, they just don't have a choice. They have to defend the objective. So that's the time to catch them in the open.
Yeah, I just want to say, too, on that. that kill before the last one. That was a hell of a grenade throw. I don't know if you saw that. He ended up getting shot, but the grenade landed right at his feet, so he had truly nowhere to go. He was either going to get shot or blown up. And that is the worst situation to get caught in. That has happened to me on several occasions.
I want to point out too, while this objective is very like hard to cap, it's also like really hard to defend because we saw there, and we also saw when pandas are defending that those people inside the mall defending the objective are really kind of exposed to all that, like the fire from on the roof and on the hotel and people pushing up and around the sides. That they just, if they are not, completely supported by a pretty aggressive and push out defense on the flanks, that they're really exposed. And once they get caught out, like you said, they're going to get shot or they're going to get grenaded, and there's nothing you can do about it. And you can't really leave because you can't defend the objective. If you leave that room, you're not defending the objective, and you have to go all the way around or through the underground basement to get into a position where you're relevant for the objective.
It's true, and that's a strong point. I remember the first time I saw this objective, I was like, oh, this is going to be hard to cap and easy to defend. But just to speak to your point, to defend it, you have to expose yourself. There's no way around it. You cannot defend that passively from other positions very well, especially if you're the last one up. You have to be in a spot where you're going to get shot or blown up or something. So very tough objective to deal with.
Now pushing over to the garage objective, or sorry, the gas station objective. This one's always interesting. I do like when we get the quick spawn. It makes for some really spicy gameplay, and that's what we're going to get today. Smokes are already thrown out. The defense should be aware of where this push is coming from just from those smoke throws. Really interesting smokes too, because they're going through the building and they're possibly covering the door, making the defense unaware. Oh, never mind. They're not covering the door whatsoever.
Ooh, nice shot by D Baggins, and Burtok is over there too. I don't know if D Baggins saw him. It's got a little bit of a sniper battle going on in the south here. Reinhardt just put his laser on him. I think they are aware of each other now. Ooh, but Joski catches Reinhardt when he tries to peek out and flank.
Aggressive Reinhardt. Shame on you.
You know better than that, Reinhardt.
Sometimes when you're just playing pubs a lot, you get in that mindset that, hey, I can do those ultra aggressive movements and flanks. But, a lot of times it's all or nothing. And here we got nothing. Skype has pushed up in the south building right behind the hospital. D Baggins kind of sounded like he was going to look over there, but decided to pull back. He's looking through the door, trying to catch anybody that is just now rotating to the white car behind the hospital. But so far, nobody has. Burtok is deciding to stay pretty firm there, just trying to catch Deep Baggins in the window, maybe.
Joski is trying to make his way through the parking garage here. We'll see if this pays off at all.
Yeah. Ranger actually has pushed up on the north side. He's on roof now, trying to see if he can get any rotation picks from the roof. Skype takes out Navaste near objective there. She was rotating in and around the garage. JT is there as well. So he is aware that there is somebody, threatening objective. Should give some good information to D Baggins, but he could be totally surrounded here pretty shortly if Burtok pushes up and across the street as he's doing right now, and coordinates his attack with Skype onto the hospital.
Yeah, D Baggins is getting surrounded here by Skype and Burtok, as you mentioned. And Skype is showing himself to be the master of the prone attack, as we saw on Suburbia. I don't know if D Baggins heard or saw anything. He's going very slowly in Skype's direction, but Burtok is creeping up right behind him.
Josie takes out JT on objective. The objective, we might see a cap here. D Baggins takes out Burtok, but Joski's on objective. Tablet is out. Cap is going on.
Yep. Oh, this cap is happening. Skype.
The capping.
The
Joski,
capping.
Can he cap before the defenders realize what's going on and move in to defend it? White Fang pushes in. Joski pulls out his gun, defends himself. He now knows
Baggins
needs to run to objective. He doesn't know where Joski is. Joski pops out, takes him out, winning the round.
I couldn't cap, they kept rushing me.
He couldn't cap, he kept rushing you. Unfortunately, we got video evidence of the mono cap that you just tried to play off there, sir. That's not going to get away from us.
No, that one's going to go in the monocap Hall of Shame, I would say.
Hall of Fame?
Did
I hear Hall of Fame?
Though, that was actually pretty spicy, though, because even though he was pulling off a monocap, he kept dropping his tablet and killing people. So
I know what that's like.
Yeah. Well, actually, the normal formula for the monocap, at least when I've experienced it, is you're capping, it takes forever, and then I kill the last person before we can get the cap. And I laugh and you cry. So
I'm just going to say there's been a couple of those where that happens, but I was almost done, and you didn't have to kill him.
Oh, I did.
No. That was an interesting round there. Maybe a few rotations that didn't need to happen near the objective. But overall, Operation One just did a great job attacking the hospital, getting, I believe it was Skype on the flank there, who stayed vigilant and just stayed prone and like not peeking those windows, just looking through the door, trying to catch those rotations, and it worked out really well for him and his team.
Yeah, I mean, a win's a win. So, all jokes aside about the capping speed and all that, if you walk away with a round win, that's all you can really ask for. Obviously, you like having the cap in if possible, but whatever.
And try to see what they can see there.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a far east spawn for Marsoc.
Let's see how they decide to push. It looks like we're going to have 3 players pushing north. 2 are going towards center or possibly south. Honestly, I do like this north attack onto this objective. You take control of Flash or Crash Building. You possibly kill a player there or catch somebody that's defending that west side from the Crash Building location, and then you just put the herd on from there and push up at your leisure.
Ranger is about to confront them. He is coming through. I don't know what to call that, like the North Warehouse or something, but yeah, it looks like he's going to get a peek on Reinhardt here. Nope, Reinhardt did not go all the way north.
But D. Baggins is in danger from this kind of defense. Takes out Baggins. Nice pick there.
I don't know if Reinhardt heard that.
It was silence. It looks like he did. He comes around, gets the refrag. That's what I'm talking about. No more ghost guns, hopefully. That was something that they supposedly fixed. I haven't been able to test it. That's why I say supposedly. But we are playing on the new version for anyone wondering. So we are going to see those changes take an effect in this kind of this game.
Yeah, I haven't heard a ghost gun yet.
Yeah,
I know it can be hard to tell, but usually you spot somebody who is obviously using a ghost gun. Haven't seen that so far.
Yeah, I'm so sick of ghost guns. You have no idea. So I'm so excited for that that fix.
Yeah, so far so good on that front.
Yeah.
And 4D printing is in the west here, spider crabbing along. You might see Reinhardt here. JT is about to come around the corner.
Ooh.
4D, I think 4D saw him. Yeah, he's calling out that they are in his area. So, another laser. Joski is now supporting his position. Ooh, that frag might land. No, not quite. Oh, it went right outside the fence there. That's too bad. Reinhardt gets Joski, so there goes 4D support in the west. JT decides that he doesn't want anything to do with that position and rotates around, and Reinhardt gets 4D instead.
Meanwhile, while all this action has been happening, White Fang has been slowly making his cross, and he is now fully crossed. He is now under the hospital. Bertox heard him moving. He's looking at the door, but White Fang is slowly pushing up. And if they can catch Bertok, then they'll only have to deal with Skype on objective. And in fact, that's the only players left, as you've been calling out. Everyone's been dying over there in the West. The Reaper of the West, Reinhardt.
It's well known that pandas favor the West in all things that they do.
Yeah. Might not be able to spell, but he can kill people over there on the West side.
Yeah. Now, the ideal situation, in my opinion, here is they get Skype. Oh, that's not going to happen, though.
Goes down to JT. Nice little pick. Really long range over there.
Ooh, okay. White Fang pushing for that corner cap. He might just get this. Skype is not rotating. I don't know if he gave out the signal that he's capping or what, but Skype is sitting patiently in the gas station, and he is going to get capped on.
Cap, cap, cap. Cap, cap, cap. Yeah, Skype has no idea that this cap could happen. Hopefully he does push out and tries to defend it, but White Fang is currently struggling with his tablet there. Possibly the smoke affecting his vision and his capping potential here. But the attackers are being pretty patient here, giving him the time he needs to get this cap off.
Yeah, he keeps moving, so I think he's been having issues with the distance to cap here.
Navaste runs up and is like, what's going on? Sounds like Skype wasn't aware that the corner cap is possible. Always be aware and do test those locations out yourself if you're unaware. There's a lot of sneaky cap locations in this game. For example, Downfall has ones where you can cap inside the building when the objective's outside. You have this one where you can cap on the corner. I'm not 100% sure on this next one, but like in Burning, I believe you can cap if you're laying down and have your tablet next to the floor. But you have to be aware of those kind of cap potentials. It is something worth training for the future.
Yeah, get in on a free roam with your teammates and just test the boundaries. See if you can cap through a wall, if you can cap above it, below it, whatever. Like on this one, I mean, this one's brutal because if somebody gets into the hospital and you're outside of it, they can just hang out on this wall and cap through it. So this is a very hard objective to defend if you're by yourself.
Yeah, it's the well, it's not as bad, I'd say, as the Kiat objective. It's pretty bad for defenders.
Yep. No, Kiat, I think, is the pinnacle of difficulty when it comes to at least solo defense.
Yeah. And here we go. I'm gonna pop this down. Yeah, we'll see how the teams choose to defend this. Really unfortunate, as the Pandas had that sneak cap and put them in the lead 3-2. They could close out this map and bring it to a 1-1 overall if they win this. But it's just sometimes it's how the cookie crumbles when you get the crappy defense for your game-winning defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I felt that pain many times, especially like it's a pretty dangerous combination because let's say, for example, like we just saw, you get a cap, now you're 2-3, whatever, and you're feeling, high as the sky, you're feeling very confident about the next round, and then you get a little lackadaisical on your defense and they cap on you because it's such a spicy objective with multiple angles to cap from. So always something to be careful of.
Here we go. The defenders are pushing up, getting their defense positions. Meanwhile, Marshawk, yeah, got that quick spawn, pushing up, trying to get these picks, trying to catch anyone going to burnings. White Fang did make it into the gas station, but misses his shot, unfortunately, hitting the wall. Skype gets that, twist and shoot. So limber. Taking out White Fang in the gas station. And this is going to be tough for the defenders now, losing that western flank. And here you can kind of see in the defensive makeup of how scared Pandas are of someone sneaking up and capping. They have to have somebody covering, the outside, the inside, and someone covering the backside as well, to be sure.
Reinhardt just got a kill from the mall, but it looks like 40 Printing and Ranger may have heard that. I just saw Ranger's laser hitting his position. Yeah, it looks like even though they had the quick spawn, Operation One decided not to take a particularly direct route for at least some of their teammates. They're going more for an encirclement.
Ranger's taking fire on Reinhardt in the mall. nearly catches him out. Reinhardt barely getting behind that pillar for cover. 4D printing is pushing up on his position as Ranger has Overwatch. Reinhardt probably not long for this world here unless he can get some miracle fire back. And there he goes down. The smoke is covering the wrong direction. Ranger mad at himself for how long it took him to get that shot there. But you got it, buddy. That's all that matters.
Yep. So down to a 2v4.
This
Again,
is exactly
this is
what you don't want.
Yeah, this is the
for this
worst.
objective.
The worst objective possible for this, although they are keeping a pretty smart defense here, one on the outside, one on the inside. It's just, if one goes down, you need to be ultra aware of that.
And D-Baggins is in such a position that he could possibly rotate and get back on objective if needed. He does take out Burtok, who was pushing into the hospital itself, probing the defenders, trying to figure out if there's a gaping hole in their defense, but the Pandas are not going to let them get capped on today. So good job, Baggins.
Skype creeping his way along, just spider crabbing with his tablet out. Oh, if JT pops out, he will see him immediately without a weapon in his hands, no less.
JT
Oh,
look
boy.
great.
Oh, no.
Hey, you're not supposed to be here.
I like how he checked the tablet there. I have had that moment before, too. Like, wait a second.
I think he was just checking his tablet, and out of the corner of his eye, he's like, "Hey, that's a Marsuck over there."
Yeah, you're probably right about that, because I think if he saw him immediately, he would have just shot him. It's just bad timing.
Speaking of the tablet, I just want to point out JT's doing the right thing here. Especially when there was ghost guns, but just in general, making sure your ally is still alive that's covering the other side of objective is the right thing to do. Because if D-Baggins goes down, JT has to make that run all the way around, go inside the building, and trying to stop that cap. So by being tablet aware, he can be, have as much reaction time as possible.
Yep. Always be aware of what's going on around you in whatever way you can. The tablet is an excellent tool for that. And 4D now rushing over to the south. I don't think JT had visibility on that cross. You didn't see his laser moving too much. So one in the north, although he's pushing northwesterly towards, let's say, center birding. So it's like a two-person encirclement here.
Right.
They've only got 54 seconds left, so they need to be pushing the pace. They're still both pretty far. 4D probably in the best position if he can catch JT.
That's something to keep in mind too. At a certain point, you want to get those picks. You want to get them while they're rotating, but at a certain point, you just got to push. Because obviously, right now we can tell that the Pandas are not going to peek out. They're not going to expose themselves to that cover fire that's been working so well for Operation One. That accurate fire from Ranger isn't going to work out if he doesn't have anybody to shoot. Meanwhile, Ranger actually is pushing up. He is coming up the same approach. JT takes out 4D printing. He is running onto objective. He knows where JT is. JT hears him moving. His tablet goes out a little bit too soon. A tray goes out, and JT takes it, bringing it to a 1-1 map. Winning
and
the
D-Baggins
round.
steals the kill at the very end after
That's
JT
all you
goes
care
down.
about. Winning? Nah. Stealing kill? Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, man. So that was some really disciplined defense on the part of the Pandas there. Like you were saying, they were not peeking at all. They were making them come to them, and it worked. They were running out of time, and they knew it, and those guys pushed in and paid the price for it.
Yeah, and those attacks, that last one, there was some coordination there, but yeah, you can't go in alone, and you got to be aware of that kind of tight defense at the end. If they're not going to play ball and peek out, wow, downfall. If they're not going to peek out, you're going to have to do something else. That's where we would like to see some utility, maybe a flash, maybe a frag over the wall there in those common defense spots, to just kind of counter that tight defense that Volk is capable of doing. Let's see.
Yeah, and 4D threw a smoke at the end there, which, I'm not saying it's the wrong move. It's, if you only have that utility, throw that. But it also gave away some information without doing too much damage. So obviously, if you have the utility, if you have a frag or a smoke or a frag or a flash, then it makes your pushes a little easier, I would argue. But they were just in a tough spot, running out of time on that objective with defenders who were not going anywhere. You know, they had a good try. They almost got in on objective, but it was just a tough situation to be in.
Yeah, I really loved seeing that defense. That was beautiful. That one, I'd say the won them that map is that critical choice, and basically the rotations where D-Baggins had one side of the objective covered and JT had the other, and they trusted each other. They didn't look the same directions. They didn't overreact. You didn't see D-Baggins running out and try and shoot them in behind. He covered his angle. He wasn't going to get capped on. And JT held his angle firm and said, no, you're not going to cap on me today, and took that match. Or that map, I should say.
Yeah, and we get some team names here, player?
Yeah, sorry, I'm so bad at that.
Terrible. And I just want to point out the comment of the night here. VR Marksman, not bad for an embarrassment of a team, going back to our terminology here for a group of pandas being called an embarrassment. Oh, and we're getting a reset. Oh, okay. So, guys, if you're going to reset, do not shoot. Stab each other. Because if you shoot, you're going to be in the exact same spawn, and now they know where you are if they were listening. So, yeah, pandas, next time you're going to do a reset, just shank each other. It's always better.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. You just gotta hope that they don't pick up on that, I guess.
Yeah, sometimes they don't hear it. It happens, especially if the round reset gets triggered and they start shooting each other too, then they don't hear it. But just not a risk really worth taking. The sharp teams will catch up to that, or catch on to that, I should say.
Information is information. It doesn't really matter where it comes from as long as it's not cheating. And that's not cheating. That's just negligence on your side when you give them that information.
Exactly.
Alrighty, so we should see... Yeah, it looks like they had a drop here on pandas. So it shouldn't be too long before we get started again. Meanwhile, we do have the lower dumpster for our first objective today on Downfall. Honestly, kind of surprised to see this map, but it is one that I've seen pandas deciding to play, practice. White Fang, I believe, has been practicing his sniping as well, so we might see some sniping shenanigans. But that said, over on Operation One, they have some really strong long-range players as well. For example, Ranger and Burtok getting those one-shot, one-hit kills. So this could be a really interesting battle of the snipers.
Indeed. Yeah, Burtok really showing himself in particular to be quite a sniper. Ranger too. I mean, they're both just getting some really spicy kills with their weapons. I'm a little conflicted because Burtok brings a bipod every time, but I don't think I've ever seen him use it.
I think I've seen him use it in another match, but I haven't seen it today. I don't think they are aware of where the spawn was, as they were looking towards quick spawn there. Okay. Or maybe they didn't know that they always get the same spawn. But that is information you will eventually learn and pick up on. Burtok is making really aggressive push towards the south bungalow there, and he looks like he's going to make it, as no Marsoc really was looking in that direction. All just kind of congregating near Marsoc Rocks area and looking the same way. And that's going to be brutal. Brutal for them as they decide to push up here, and he will have that side flank action. Meanwhile, White Fang is going as far as possible on the south flank, getting in those very high south hills. Living up to what I was saying, that he's going to try and go for those sneaky breaky sniper shots from the hill.
What's so gnarly about Burtok's position is not only close on that flank, but he's in that little tiny window of South Bungalow too. And man, it's so hard to pick somebody out from that unless you've got strong optics, which it looks like, to be fair, some of them are bringing 2 times and the like. But
it's honestly depressing as hell. Whenever they get those, I'm really sad.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Reinhardt and JT have pushed the White House. Reinhardt made it into the building free and clear. He could get some sneaky picks on the defenders in the south dumpster building if he's patient.
Yeah, Navaste seems to have identified somebody in Center Hotel. I believe I heard her calling out. I think it was the Center Hotel piece. Maybe it's this person in Upper Dumpster. Not quite sure.
Reinhardt's
Shots coming out.
taking some shots. He did see Skype's position in the lower dumpster. Took some shot, did not connect, but information was gleaned.
Yeah,
And now
we're curious to see how Bertok's position is going to play into this, because he's just sitting patiently. If they start pushing up from that south side, they're going for a rude awakening if he can peek out that window and get some shots off.
Meanwhile, White Fang, taking that information given from Navaste, is watching center. Ooh, Josie takes out Reinhardt, but he's watching that center hotel pretty much like a hawk, you know, checking it every now and again, checking all the other windows that he can see. But he could possibly catch a ranger out if he's not careful.
And Bertok, first kill from South Bungalow. It's like
The
JT
first
is
of
thinking
many,
about.
probably.
Yeah, maybe. And JT is thinking about this res, but every time he thinks about it, Joski's laser races that ridge line.
As far as I can see.
Okay, it looks like he's going to push for it. Joski is not. Oh,
brutal.
Right as that happens. Wow. Some bad
and then
timing.
the trade from Navaste and Skype as well, as she tried to get that refrag. Reinhardt currently sad, hearing his buddy die just outside the building. Can't even go crawl up to be next to him as he bleeds out. Skype is available. Res is available on him. 4D would have to kind of push and go around in a potentially compromising position.
And White Fang talking to himself and saying something very true, that he's very exposed, and he just got spotted.
And Joski takes out White Fang as he tried to rotate out of the building. I'm currently in the wall right now. That's cool.
I'm watching White Fang's helmet tumble down as his body disappeared.
Okay, that was a tough round for Pandas, but honestly, every attack is tough on when you're Marsoc on this map, as this map is just so brutal to attack on. So many easy angles to just watch, be patient, and then you only have 5 minutes to clear all these extremely dangerous spots.
Especially when you've got decent long-range players like Operation One has, and just some, frankly, very lucky timing on Bertok's side, because D. Baggins was running into South Marsoc and could have seen him, but he just didn't look that direction. But the moment somebody has that position and they just have this tiny little window to look through and shoot you, it just makes your life miserable. Yeah, then the other thing, too, is that they concentrated their attack pretty heavily on one side. And it can pay off sometimes, but in this case, it did not, again, because it's just getting picked off a little too easily by these long-range players, I think.
And I just want to point out, too, while that position that White Fang chose on top of the hill can be very powerful, at a certain point, you just got to rotate, because they're not choosing to rotate or expose themselves to that line of fire. And you really have to make those decisions quickly, because there's just not enough time in this map to really hold an angle for so long that you get down to 1 or 2 minutes.
I didn't see anything.
And, you know, you haven't got a kill yet because they're just holding tight on objective.
Yeah.
I'm really assuming they're dead.
Reinhardt correctly assuming that they did not get quick spawn. Good job to check that.
White Fang rushes to White House.
One went down 225
Oh,
There's
no,
our-
4D printing, no. 4D printing, for all the new players possibly watching, is using the kind of wrist or the tablet call-out rows, or whatever you want to call it, where it has numbers on it. And that is only relative to players near you. So the only person it was possibly relevant for was Ranger. For everyone else, it's going to be a completely different position. So if they're at 225, for another player, it could be 245 or something like that. So try to get used to using real callouts for the maps, as they're infinitely more useful.
Yeah, a little surprised to hear that they're using coordinate-based callouts, but yeah, like you said, hopefully they will not be doing that anymore because it can only cause confusion for everybody that's not near you.
Right.
And Skype got a kill there. I did not catch it, but
Baggins, you have sight on the uplink, right?
they are already in the middle of the map. Seems like a very strong northeast kind of orientation, although it looks like they're starting to push more towards the west. One moving down from North Hotel now.
D. Baggins has to be careful here, as if he pokes out, which he's doing right now, and stands up, he will be seen by Skype. It's only a thin wood door protecting him from death right now.
I hear them around the hotel by me.
Calls out that enemy players are near him, but that is not true. I wonder if your footsteps still follow you like a ghost,
That's me.
like
on the
delayed.
mid floor.
Yeah, I think so, because I've heard multiple players say that now incorrectly.
Yeah. Oh, and D. Baggins takes shots from Skype in that lower bungalow there, south bungalow, and he knows he needs to keep his head down to rotate, which he does. Correct move. You have that 3 stories of that center hotel. Use them all to your advantage. You can basically flank the enemy more or less in the same building without having to rotate out and expose yourself. I love those hotels for that reason.
And Joski about spotted, I think, laser right on him from D. Baggins.
Oh, he's
Or
been
no.
spotted. He's been spotted. Shots ring out, and he gets taken out by the same time by Baggins and White Fang. Ranger
Yeah.
tries to confirm it, get the refrag on Baggins, but couldn't quite connect, and D. Baggins has chosen to go to the first floor of the hotel at this time.
No, it was like in the actual building.
JT telling his team, make sure you don't peek. Good call out by JT. It's always, especially when those kills and those rounds that's thrown out, that you want to peek, you want to get in on that action, but let them come to you. They only have 1 minute and 35 seconds left. Only one attacker and defender has died so far. And they have a lot of ground to cover, as they are not even close to objective, except for possibly Skype, who does have a possibility to make a skip and a jump and get over to objective.
I would argue, too, that against some of these newer teams, they have sort of a bias towards aggression. And if you can just be disciplined and hold your angles, in many cases, you will prevail over them when you're playing defense.
Yeah, Skype has run up onto objective unopposed. Ranger takes out D. Baggins, which is the defense for the outside. They are in danger of a cap here. Navaste notices the gap and runs out immediately, trying to go cover it. Checks her angle. Skype notices the lack of the both players come around. Now
almost a team kill.
Right, and Ranger tries to get the refrag, but now JT and Navaste, while they have stopped the cap, are stuck in the same room and getting totally surrounded. 30 seconds left. White Fang does his best to cover them, taking out a player in the center hotel there, but 4D and Bertok are running onto objective now. This is brutal. This is the kind of action that we love to see on Downfall.
And JT going to get the res here, and it's all up to Bertok. 10 seconds left, technically 8 because the clock is 2 seconds fast. This round is over. There's no way this is going to end in their favor.
That was amazing. That was exhilarating.
Yeah,
that
was an exciting round for sure.
Well, I would have liked to see that attack happen a little sooner. It was pretty darn coordinated there. They did try to cover him. They did try to get those refrags, and they were attacking for the most part together, which is what you want to see, especially on a map like this. Really beautiful plays from both sides there. I loved Navaste and JT's immediate snap decision, knowing that the objective was open. Like, hey, you know, who's going to deal with it? You know, not letting that bystander bias take over, and they both immediately went and tried to cover it there because they weren't sure if the other was doing it or not. And by doing that, they stopped the cap from happening. And honestly, if you get capped on in this map, it's probably over.
Yep. Yeah, getting capped on downfall is poison. I mean, even more so than other maps, just because you get capped on now, you've got to play Marsoc,
Yeah,
and
oof.
Marsoc is always challenging, no matter what the objective is on downfall. So
Yeah.
good job there. That was excellent play by the Pandas there. Really nice coordination. They were also reinforcing discipline amongst one another, like, hey, don't peek. And like JT and Neva ran out when they both realized that the objective was uncovered from that front side and saved the day there. So good round, both sides.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Okay, it looks like we have a northeast spawn for Marsoc here.
So I think this is the right flank one. I think they're gonna flank
Good
from
thing, okay.
whatchamacallit.
I'm gonna get Hill House.
So,
Hill House. Interesting. This
Yeah, I'm gonna stop flying. I'm gonna be the first line of defense here.
heard
Is that what they're
Ranger
calling
call.
White House?
No, I think it's actually
I think
Marsoc.
you're right, though.
Although that doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe it was Bird Talk. But Hill House, really interesting name.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see all kinds of
Yep. They just
transmutations of call outs that have been traditionally used as these new teams get more and more used to it. Because really what matters is just that the other teammates understand what you're saying.
Ranger sees Reinhardt crossing down the hill, tries to get him, but doesn't quite connect with him. But they do know that somebody is in these Marsoc buildings, and Navaste is trying to figure out where he is, peeking out, looking at those windows. Really opportune for Reinhardt to get away with that. Interesting position from Joski. He's sitting on the low wall outside of objective. I haven't really seen that one used very often. You do have to worry about the defenders attacking from the Marsoc direction and shooting you in the back. But right now he does have Ranger covering that angle.
And there was an M203 shot fired there, but nobody went down.
Unfortunately.
Ranger just poked out of North Marsoc. Did not get spotted by Navaste or anybody else that was potentially in sight range there.
Yeah, he's currently out of view. I think he's taking the dark room.
I just watched Navaste get dropped. I was watching her.
I've zoomed past right as that happened. I thought she was like, is he in there?
Oh, that sucks. You need every person possible on downfall to spam Marsoc rounds. That is really unfortunate.
Meanwhile, Reinhardt and Whitefang have pushed to this south bungalow, but Bertok, I think, saw Reinhardt peek around the corner here. And honestly, while you have gotten like over halfway across towards objective, but this is the point where it gets really tough. Whitefang takes out Joski, who's getting a little aggressive. Right? Reinhardt, run! Maybe less running, more hiding. So right now, if you just kind of take a gander, Whitefang has Ranger, who is in that dark room. He's covering if he tries to run down towards objective. He has Bertok in the White House, covering him if he tries to go and attack Ranger in the Marsoc buildings. And then he has 4D printing on a lower dumpster, who eventually gets the pick onto his position there. So while you can get up to that building, it gets really risky to make any more moves after that.
Yeah, he had no way of knowing, but he was pretty much screwed in that situation. He was completely surrounded, and the moment he went outside of cover, he got taken out. That's just an unfortunate situation there.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen more of an emphasis on taking the Marsoc buildings, as they're very powerful on these objectives. And you're almost guaranteed to have a defender in the dark room or maybe in the second story of the Marsoc buildings. So taking that person out opens up an entire avenue of approach, leaving you down to the White House guy, if they do have one, to defend that angle, all those angles alone.
Yep, and now it's just two Pandas with 1 minute and 18 seconds left.
Yeah, this is tough. Smoke goes out, but they have 1 minute and 10 seconds left. 4 Operation One players to deal with. Would have been 3 if Navaste didn't drop. Very unfortunate to see. Probably cursing her internet connection right now in the tent. But sometimes you just got to deal with the lemons that you've been given.
Yep.
D-Baggins running, taking fire from White House, gets all the way to the helicopter. Skype takes out JT, who is trying to make the same cross. If Baggins can do it, I can. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. Desperate frag gets thrown out there. Not going to be able to reach the people in the second story of the building there. He's trying to take him out, but he just can't get this approach. And he's about to get taken out. Wounded at the helicopter. Oh, nice shot.
Yeah, all the way from White House.
And he was inside the helicopter at that point when he got shot there. He probably thought he was safe, but just a bit of his head or his shoulder was visible.
Man, that was just brutal. Just
Yeah.
losing a person in the middle of the round like that. Just such bad luck. That sucks.
Yeah, it's tough. This map is just impossible, almost impossible, I feel, to win as Marsoc now. There's just so many things stacked against you. But it is a great map to just practice. Do remember, this isn't a match. This is a ScrimCast. These players are learning how to deal with these situations, putting them to the test against real teams. There's no real points or MMR or anything on the line here. It's just all in the name of learning. So win or lose, whatever maps, your strong maps, your weak maps, it's just all good experience for you.
Yeah, and really, like, I would argue if you're scrimming in particular, you really should be playing your worst maps. And maybe that was what the Pandas were going for. I really don't know. But you want to play your weakest links here. You try your strategies that are a little unrefined, play on maps that aren't that great, and don't worry about if you win or lose. Just try to learn something always in a scrim, because winning and losing doesn't really matter when you're just practicing. I mean, it's not meaningless. Like KDRs, for example, are not meaningless, but if you optimize your behavior around that all the time, you're going to miss out on a lot of great learning opportunities.
Right. And honestly, on these more complex maps, when you know you're going to have a caster for your scrim, it can be more opportunity to play these as well, as you really get that bird's eye view that, especially on these larger maps, can mean all the difference. And knowing how the enemy team reacts to your plays, how well your defensive lineup is, if there was any gaping holes at any point in the game. There's a lot of information to be gleaned, and this is a great map, in my opinion, to watch a cast back and see just how well your tactics have worked.
For sure. Yeah, and just a tip that I learned from James Boak, for anybody that's watching this back that wants to study, look at the map more than you're looking at the footage itself, because that'll show you what's really going on in terms of what a team as a unit is doing. It's easy to get focused on the action on screen, but if you're watching the map, you can see how the game itself evolves. So like when we're casting, we're both looking at the map a lot, and you should be doing the same thing if it's your team and you're trying to figure out what's going on as a round progresses.
Just don't fall asleep watching that map.
Yeah, try not to. It's hard. And Skype over at the helicopter sandbags throws out a smoke. Curious to see if he's going to get spotted here by anybody, because he is about to be out in the open.
Meanwhile, Ranger is making this far east approach here. Nobody's watching that direction, so he should be able to get into the Marsoc buildings and contest Reinhardt if he plays his cards right. Shots ringing out all over. D-Baggins takes out 4D printing with his SKS. Joski has to make this push across to the center hotel. Navaste is in a position to possibly catch him out as he goes in the building, but she's looking away right now. Joski tries to get... Joski has been spotted at the very least. Oh, but it's too late. Navaste piping on her mic, trying to give him that information, but it's just a tad too late there. Reinhardt takes out Skype as well in the center by the helicopter. But taking that center hotel is a great first step for the attackers here. Still 3 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, that body is unconfirmed, but I would argue it's not that much of a threat right now, just because it's out in the open. Anybody tries to get a res is going to get shot, almost certainly.
Center hotel, there's one on me.
Reinhardt has called out Ranger on his position. So they are aware, and they will be able to support him by covering his doorway. This is where Reinhardt needs to communicate with his team. While he has called out the player there, if he can confirm that one of the defenders can watch the door for him, I would like to see him continue to watch his angles. Trust your team. You don't have to overcommit on the defense there if you trust your team to defend you.
Yeah, this is one of those situations. I play this dark room all the time on Mayhem, and my priority is always to just let people know what's going on. Like, at some level, I don't really care if they hear me do that, because it's such a powerful position that if they overcome me and nobody on the team knows about it, we're in trouble.
Right. He did call it out. I just want to clarify. I wanted to see him work with maybe JT, or maybe the person in White House, although I don't think they can really get the angle there. Not reliably. Basically JT, and try to cover him there. But that said, JT does have an important job here of defending the objective, so it just really depends on the situation.
Yeah, Ranger and Reinhardt about to find each other, but Reinhardt looking away at just the wrong moment. Oh, and he's going to get shot. Oh, he had been watching that corner for so long, and then that one moment did not. God, I hate those moments. I've had that happen so many times. You spend
Right.
all your time and energy watching an angle, think it's safe, and then the moment you look away, you get shot. That is the worst.
So right now, Ranger is now covering from the Marsoc buildings. Burtok, knowing that the darkroom person is dead, could push up completely unopposed here. They are now threatening the objective. Joski is running up, but Navase has a nice angle on the side there. Burtok's trying to confirm it. Hits the wall right in front instead. JT holding a tight angle, knowing that the north is completely open now. Ranger, in fact, coming around the north side.
White Fang watching that angle, though. White Fang should be able to catch him before he does any damage.
Yeah, he's about to see him. And JT gets him with a grenade.
Wow.
That is a crazy distance on that one. White Fang's like, I will take that kill, thank you.
Clean up on aisle 5.
Pandas win based on time. Get a nice trade. JT gets to notch on another kill at the end. Navaste's mad about it. He didn't shoot them. That was a strong defense there. We did see good reaction and awareness. They knew that the attacks were most likely going to be coming from the north. The north side center map, as well as the Marsoc buildings, considering that Reinhardt called out, like you said, he called out that they were taking it, and then he died, giving them all the information they need to make a optimal defense for the attack that was coming in on them.
Yep, that was well played. And on downfall, if you're on defense and you force a timeout, I mean, obviously you do get a literal victory, but it's almost demoralizing to be on the other side of that, because you're saying like, okay, well, we have to be offensive, but it means that you were slowed down systematically in some sense. Like, you were forced to make big adjustments so that you couldn't push forward. And man, it's hard to adapt to that. And it looks like we have the Helicopter 2 story objective now.
Yeah, so on the completely other side of the map now. This will be interesting to see how the attackers choose to attack this one. I think this is one of the, if not the most Marsoc favored, if you can call it that, objectives on this map.
Yeah, this one is another one of those objectives that's really hard to deal with. Like we were talking about the hospital on Q1. If you're the last one up, there's so many angles you can get capped on from. You got to watch the west approach. You've got to watch the east approach. They can go in under you. Like, there's just so much to keep track of.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting, the changes they make to the map in the upcoming patches to come. I've heard some spicy things.
Locked and loaded.
Yeah, I have not been in the loop about that. All I know is that they're making visual updates. I saw some screenshots, but I don't know. They're going to make some deeper changes than that to the map. I was unaware.
And at the very least, they posted some updated pictures. Actually, White Fang takes out Skype as he tries to cross the crater building. 4D is going to make it in. And Joski actually gets a nice shot on the Reinhardt up on the hill here. Really brutal start to this round.
That was quick. We just hit 20 seconds. And already we have 2 people dead and 1 down.
It's almost like it's a mini cargo.
Got one, left side.
Ranger
Almost.
takes out JT, getting a little aggressive on his peak. Where was he? Yeah, he was on the north hotel corner there. Strong position, but once they know you're there, it can be really tenuous position to keep, especially when their entire team right off the start is all looking that way, expecting a quick spawn.
I am not personally a fan of North Hotel in general, but in particular for this spawn, it's just like you said, so easy to get isolated.
Yeah, it takes a while to get out if you do need to safely. You can do it if you crouch at the right moment when you're exposed. And you do see D Baggins here running around the outside, pretty much free and clear. He will be able to get around and rotate to a different position here. Currently, the entire team focus on resing Navaste. One way or another, I think it's kind of a lose-lose situation because while they might get Navaste, they're using like over a minute and a half to do it. And the smoke, unfortunately, is behind her instead of in front of her, and does let the defenders be aware that something is trying to go down here. Maybe a res, maybe a movement.
Yeah, they really need to get this over with if they're going to do it. White Fang proning his way over there. I mean, there's 2 minutes down. They have made no progress from their spawn.
I just want to say, by the way, Ranger here on camera 2 is using his bipod. It just doesn't seem to
If they try to run from
it doesn't
Hill House, I'm gonna try.
get shown for us that he's doing it, but you can tell he's one-handing it right now. It looks really funny.
Wait, who's this?
Look, Ranger on camera 2.
Oh, yeah.
Look at his hand down there. Scratch his leg. That's the freedom of the bipod, folks.
Yeah, I'm still not personally convinced about the bipod's value, but these guys are making the most of it.
Me neither. All right. Meanwhile, Marsoc is kind of spread out here. The res did not happen, it looks like. We have seen some players kind of take this center area, going for like the church or the stables and moving up. They don't have much time left, and they have 4 enemy players to deal with. This is going to be a tough one for Pandas to claw back this round.
Yeah, they really don't have time now.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, they spent a lot of... Sorry, go ahead.
D Baggins just missed a rotation out in the open. That was the perfect time, but he was getting into position himself. Ranger, meanwhile, has moved from the sandbanks to the north brothel, and they have no idea probably that he's there if they've identified his sandbag position. Oh, Navase did get res because she just took out Bertox.
Yep.
I didn't think she did.
Yeah, Revive did come out, but they burned through a lot of time to make that happen. And they now have a minute left. Joski, the only one directly on objective. Let's see, I see Joski. Oh, okay, 40 printing in the crater building.
He takes that White Fang in the corner there. That's tough. Now he has to die or be suppressed for that movement. And that's the angle that they need to take. That said, D Baggins is actually on the helicopter. If he does make a push right now, he could get to objective and get this cap off. But he will have to deal with Joski, who will hear that quickened movement he's making. He's deciding to take it stealthy, but Joski's going to catch him in the window. But D Baggins says no and shoots him in the face.
Oh,
but
and Ranger
catches him out
from the other angle. Wow.
Good reaction time from Ranger. Checking out what's going on, not letting that cap go on. Navaste has to run right of objective and cap super quick as she was going to win that one. But Ranger takes her out, and also 4D printing rotated. He was looking out towards the upper red truck, but decided, with 30 seconds left in the round, to rotate and cover objective, which is exactly the right thing to do here for the defenders when the time is just about to run out.
I mean, so it's important to get the revive. I would never criticize going for a revive in most cases unless it's just really stupidly out in the open. But yeah, Pandas burned way too much time on that. And I mean, truth be told, that last push wasn't bad. D Baggins had one side and he got somebody there. But when you're that pressed for time, it's just, the odds are against you, especially on downfall.
Yeah, that was tough. We did almost see an upset there from D Baggins. Very good attempt. Really good reaction time. Seeing the guy in the window there taking fire, but winning that trade. It's just unfortunate that, the other player was there. Ranger was there to confirm him. And no matter which side of the building he chose to go for, there was a second player watching the objective because Joey could throw a frag out the window if he went on the east side, or 4D printing could shoot him from crater, and they had Joski and Ranger on the west side ready to react for anyone running into the doorway in the back.
Yeah.
So really tough position for the Pandas there, and good defense from Operation One.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here because this has so far been a back and forth of defenses. But if Operation One can break through, they can take this match.
Are you surprised, by the way? There's been back and forth trades on Volt.
This is my surprise voice. Yeah, not surprised at all. Oh, and White Fang goes for the center hotel, but gets picked off right away. That is a sub 10-second death. Those are the worst. And
yeah, so unfortunately, if you look where he actually died, he was running at the fence, and then he was going to have to go around the fence. So I think it was just kind of a brain fart there, not taking the West Road itself, and going around in cover. So you should be able to get to Center Hotel more or less free and clear on this objective.
Indeed. Yeah, really no reason to be quite that out in the open, especially that early.
Right.
So Panda's down 1 early on, and D Baggins gets Joski to even it up at least. And Skype and Reinhardt about to meet up, I think. Depends on how quickly Skype.
About in downfall terms. About in time. Like in 2 minutes. Okay, so it's 2 minutes in downfall. In cargo, when they say they're about to meet up, it happened like 10 seconds ago.
That's true.
Bazaar is kind of in the middle there, it could go either way.
Each map does seem to have its own sense of time.
Right, yeah, like 5 minutes is eternity on cargo, but it's just nothing on this map.
Yep.
Where's the smoke? Who threw this smoke? Was that Skype? Navasi takes out Ranger.
I believe Skype did throw that as a way to try to blind Reinhardt because he heard him calling him out. Reinhardt did the right
second story, I think. Yeah, he did.
Because he said, "There's somebody on me." Skype immediately reacted to that. Yep. There it is again. And 4D, I think, is tuned into this. He is spider crabbing his way. A little risky here to be crawling out in the open, but he might catch Reinhardt if he doesn't make any sound.
This position has to be taken out here. D Baggins, unfortunately, looks like he's kind of more covering the objective, maybe, and will not catch 4D attacking Reinhardt's position here. With that call from Reinhardt, I would have liked to see at least one person trying to support him, covering that doorway, getting that free kill, as 4D, has to be looking into the windows on his approach into the building.
Panda's doing the right thing here, though. They are playing very tight. They've got JT inside the building in that little hidden cap alcove, just as like a last resort, I would imagine. And nobody is peeking.
I don't know about that position. I mean, I like if you've lost control of the situation, but like right off the start, that's just kind of like you're giving up a lot of the advantages of having just another angle covered.
Yeah, I agree. I think if it's late stages of the round, it makes sense. But yeah, I mean, there's potential to have a gun on somebody that's being taken away here.
And by the way, remember when I said 2 minutes? We now have a minute and 35 seconds left. Skype is just breaching the second story now, which 40 is already done. And
I
look at Skype.
I didn't want to
sad
say anything,
panda.
but I was thinking, you know what? He's going to team kill right here because they were both creeping, and I don't think they were communicating because they didn't want Reinhardt to know where they were.
I just want to this orbit of shame on Skype as he sits there with tablet and gun in his hand. He's like, "What? What just happened? What just?"
That is the look of shell shock, ladies and gentlemen, after you just murdered your best pal.
Baggins just looked up.
Bertox or D Baggins actually taking some shots up at Skype's position there. I think he's confirming the body. Skype, hearing those shots, takes out Baggins. Bertox is in a pretty good spot for an attack on the objective here. If he ran right at objective right now, we could see a cap, but unfortunately, I don't know if we had the kind of communication needed to know that the cap is more or less open if they could take out Reinhardt, who, by the way, has mostly been staying on objective, keeping at least one eye on it, making sure that his angle continues to be covered even as he's pressured by the enemy team.
Yeah, 19 seconds left. I gotta believe this is not going to go Operation One's way. They need to get 3 kills, one of which is hidden deep in the bowels of the objective building. Yeah, this is going to be a Panda win.
Skype and Reinhardt last-minute trade right there at the end there.
Navaste C4's JT on accident, but...
No, maybe he deserved it.
And Navaste shedding tears over the body of her downed teammate.
Wow.
But,
wow. That was crazy.
Yeah. All right. So, to no one's surprise, it is a defensive back and forth. And now Operation One has Volk, and therefore the slight advantage here on the deciding round on the deciding map.
Okay.
This is what we signed up for, ladies and gentlemen. This kind of match. I was just going to say something about that. Anyway, we will not discuss that any further. And we are, let's see, we're still on this objective, right? Or no, we moved. We have moved to the ice cream truck objective, or I guess you call it the helicopter bungalow objective, for the final round. Man, what a match this has been so far. This is hotly contested on all 3 maps. And these rookies are really showing promise.
Yeah. Crazy. Really unfortunate team kill there. I think that just blew the wind out of their sails there. While it can suck, you need to call it out and then move on. It doesn't do your down teammates any good if you continue to not play the game because you're so demoralized. Go through there. It's your duty to either get the res on them if possible, or to kill the enemy team in righteous fury and make up for your team kill. Speaking of righteous fury, Reinhardt takes somebody out, 4D printing, I think, and just what a brutal first engage there.
Yeah, Joski got a kill, but Reinhardt only got the down. We'll see if they try to get the revive here. At this point, it would, in fact, be safe because they're not peeking anymore.
It's hard to know that, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I personally would hesitate before going out for that.
This would be one of those times when you have to think about going prone, and as we all know, Theta loves going prone.
It is my absolute favorite.
As an old man.
My sensors also incidentally love it when I go prone, which is why they go
totally
nuts.
The sensors, not just your old man back and knees.
Of course not.
I just want to point out too, if the radios are working, which it kind of seems like they are, Bertox takes the Navaste, 4D has a good position to just call out the movement of pandas. Panda's got another pick as well, I think, or they got picked. I didn't quite catch that. Did
JT you? Killed somebody in Center Hotel, and I think Joski might be going for the res here.
Okay,
they
that
put
said,
this-
I want
Oh.
to just take a snapshot of this
Oh,
position that we got.
Almost.
Bertok
Joski
takes White
barely
Fang.
escapes from that.
Reinhardt gets taken out. I just wanted to call this out. Bertox was able to move into the north bungalow there, and now he has taken out 2 enemy players. And JT is stuck here, and he can't even know when he got the kill because it's so hard to see. White Fang calls a clear because the smoke does have pretty good coverage here. Rez goes off. He catches White Fang moving down and takes him out promptly. And JT is just almost powerless at this position. Those windows are so powerful to deal with once they get control of them. It's risky to take them, but once you have them, it's just so hard to root them out.
Yeah,
And that's
JT
kind of the problem of really pushing the same side all at once.
Yep. And they lost someone right off the bat, and then just continued to get picked off. And now it's JT all by himself. Oh, and he runs out of ammo as he's shooting at Bertok.
I'd like to see him just ignore this player. He doesn't have time for this. Go low or go prone. Go around this wall. Try your luck elsewhere. Force him to come out because it's just not working out. Sometimes the most expedient route isn't the best, especially if you see the bodies of your friendlies down the hill there. Don't take the same path if you can help it.
Yeah. It's also a little dicey to face off against a sniper in that situation, just because they have the advantage at range.
Do you want to talk to the captains real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to ask if they're going to do encore.
All right, so that engagement, it was really tough there. I think that the fatal flaw was everyone committing to the same angle, and then because they did that, the defenders were able to freely move up to flanking positions that are just so strong, like the center bungalow areas. Either one of them on different objectives are just so strong. You gotta watch for that kind of movement from the enemy team. Those are free picks if you have players in the right angles to cover them. And if a certain attack isn't working out, you can always rotate, go a different way, or wait for your allies on a different flank to make some gains and get their attention. So try to spread out that attack. Even if things are going wrong, you always want to have a good battle line going. Stop the blobbing from happening before it gets deadly for your team, as that cross down to lower red truck was for the Pandas this round.
Yep. And I did not get a message back, but everybody is out of the lobby, so I would assume that this game is over. So Operation One takes it 2-1. Really got down to the wire there, 3-3 on the final map, and they just managed to squeak it out there. So good job to both teams. And I really look forward to seeing these guys in the regular season, both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. Both teams have really strong players, really strong plays that they've made, and I'd like to see these kind of less used maps like Downfall getting played in these scrims. So because someday you're gonna have to play them. So getting the practice in now is absolutely the right move for both teams. You're gonna learn the changes in 1.8. You're gonna learn how your team operates and what you can improve on, and ultimately, when you're forced to play Marsoc on Downfall, you're gonna learn how to to play it right, to move with expediency and efficiency. So really good to see players, like you said, playing the maps they're not necessarily the most keen on for whatever reason.
No doubt. All right, guys. Well, the lobby is empty, like I said. Mono, do you have anything else to add?
Nope, that was a great game. I liked seeing both teams today in their plays.
Same. All right. Well, thank you, everybody who was watching. Please join us again next time whenever we do a ScrimCast. And just a reminder, Mono and I are now official VRML casters, so you'll be seeing our work and hearing our voices on actual cast before too long. But until then, thanks for joining us on our informal ScrimCast. This is Theta signing off with my co-caster, Moner.
Have a great day, everyone.